we would ride the hound out of them, trying to get them to where we could felt safe enough to get them out of the pasture. Well, rode them for probably a year, and in the summer rode them a lot, and during the winter didn't ride them as much. But finally, we got them to where Mr. Pulliam thought that we could take them out okay. And so we went out and went on top of that big old hill and that big acreage up there, and it went right down to Jacksboro Highway. No fences or anything in between. And we rode up there several times. One of the problems we had with them, that if you got them to running, you couldn't stop them. So we had got them to where we could handle them, we could run them, we could stop them, we could get them to do nearly anything we wanted to do. And so I went and got one of them. I was by myself, and I went out on that hill, and I thought, well, I'll just run him down. It was a kind of a road along the top of the hill, about quarter of a mile long, I guess. And so I got him on that road and turned him loose and going to let him run a little bit. And, well, we wasn't running fast. It was just a good little past the lope, just an easy run. And all of a sudden I could feel him bunching up, and he was beginning to reach out there and run a little harder. So I started pulling him up, being as I was by myself. I didn't want to take no chance and get in a wreck with him. So I started pulling on him. The harder I pulled, the faster that sucker would go. So I finally started pulling him and just got a hold of one rein, of the right rein, and I was trying to pull his head around, and we had got him to stop that way, get him running in a circle, and they would slow down and stop. Well, I got a hold of that rein and started pulling him around, and he give a little bit and moved off a little bit off of the road and started easing around, but I just never could get him in a circle. Well, a little bit I realized, hey, we're headed for the highway and he ain't slowing down. And so when we come off the hill, and I saw I wasn't going to be able to get him turned before we got to the highway, so I turned him loose, and so he could do his own thing, because I could tell he was going to hit the highway. And I didn't want to be trying to fight him and him trying to fight and keep his feet under him on the pavement. This is a 4-lane highway with a medium in the middle. And I hit that highway, and we missed a convertible with 2 girls in it. When they passed in front of me. We were only about 20 foot between us. That horse went across the highway right behind them, and when they passed me, their eyes was about as big as a $50. And he kept his feet under him on the first 2 lanes, and then he stumbled a little bit when he hit the medium, but he got his feet under him before he got to the pavement on the other side, and thank the Lord there wasn't a car coming nowhere on the other side, and he went across that without falling. And all 50, 75 feet on the other side of the highway, then there was a fence, and I don't know what was on his mind, but I could tell that when we got off the pavement on the other side, he was slowing down in a hurry, and by the time we got to the fence, well, he had stopped, and I was sure glad, man. I was sweating. Oh, goodness. I got off of him and I led him all the way back, and that was probably a half a mile. I led him all the way back to Pulliams. By that time he had cooled off a little bit. He had worked up a pretty good sweat. He had cooled off enough that I just brushed him a little bit and put him in the stall and left him and went home. I didn't go back and I didn't ride him for a while. Not by myself for sure. But one time with him, Jerry and I, the Fort Worth Fat Stock Show and Rodeo Parade. Big deal in Fort Worth. They always have a big parade. And Jimmy and Clarity and I belonged to, at this time, I was in high school. And we had a rodeo club in the high school. And Jimmy and I belonged to the rodeo club. Well, we decided that the club needed to partake to get in and be in the parade. Well, we talked to everybody, and Jimmy and I was the only one that could come up with horses this is a rodeo club, but he and I was the only one that could come up with horses to ride in the parade. Well, we had a flag, a club flag. So I guess we had a club flag and a United States flag. But each one of us had a flag to carry. And well, this is about 3 years we'd been riding these two roan horses. And we had got them to where we thought we could ride in the parade with them. We rode them around around the pens and everything there at the house, Mr. Pulliams, and we would throw sacks at them. We would just did everything we could think of to see if they was going to spook. Well, we decided that they was going to be all right. Well, it was almost 10 miles from Mr. Pulliams, downtown Fort Worth, and then the parade was gathering to start on the other side of Fort Worth. We rode these horses that 10 miles, rode them in the parade, and then rode them home. And by the time we started home, they were so tired, they didn't care about nothing. I mean, people could honk at us, they could do anything. These horses didn't cut up a bit, man. They was pooped. And I don't think we had much trouble after that. Of course, it wasn't long after that till I got involved in work and everything, and I just didn't have time to fool with them anymore. But we sure had a big time with them while we had them. I don't know what Mr. Pulliam ever did with them. I don't know why he kept them so long. I mean, he kept them for a long time and them not doing him any good. But they were a pair. They were full brothers, and that's very unusual to find a pair of horses marked like they were. And I guess they were valuable. I'm not sure I ever told him about the highway accident incident. Oh, goodness. That was scary.
One of the things that I did to pass the time, and when I had a horse, Donnie had a horse, and I there was a lot, empty lot across the street from us. So I had beat a path all the way around the outside of that lot. And I'd pretty well trained my horse to follow that path, whether I was guiding him or not. And my aspirations was to do some trick riding. Well, I did some, and moderately successful. And one of the tricks that I wanted to do was what they call a fender drag. Well, I'm not real sure whether that was the name of it or not, but anyway, you had a strap on one side of the horse that hooked into the rigging somewhere, and you stuck if it was on the right side, you stuck your right foot in that loop and then leaned off down on the other side of the horse with that loop holding your leg where you wouldn't fall off. And you did some fancy things like sticking you actually had your hands over your head, which was sticking down, and then your other leg stuck straight up. Well, I got the position down almost right, and all of a sudden I hit the ground. And so I don't know where the commotion and what it was, but it scared the horse and he took off. He left my track. And I finally caught the horse and got him back and got to looking at my rigging. And I had put the end of the strap inside the buckle off the cinch on the right hand side. Well, that was fine as long as I was pulling down on the strap. But when I pulled up on the strap, well, it just come right off the tongue the way I had it in there. And I wasn't thinking too good when I rigged that stunt up. But anyway, I never did try that again. Even though I knew what I'd done wrong, I never did try that again. But I was able to get the horse going around, and it gallop, a good strong gallop, and I would throw my leg, most of the time my right leg, over the saddle and just drop off on the ground on the left hand side. But as I went down, well, I grabbed hold of the saddle horn and kind of swung my feet forward as I went down, and when they hit the ground, well, it flipped me back up in the saddle. And I got that one down pretty good. I got to where I could do that one all right. Of course, I found out later that's the easiest trick there is to do, so I wasn't accomplishing a whole lot. I don't know, I don't recall whether I just give up on the other or what, but anyway, I decided, well, I want to do some Roman riding. That's where you ride two horses, standing up on two horses at the same time. And so I got Donnie's horse out. And, well, they weren't trained to stay together. And I was standing up on them and had the reins of each one of them in my hand and trying to control them. I was just walking around and trying to keep them close enough together that it didn't cause splits on me. And I finally decided, well, I wasn't going to be able to, they weren't trained that good to do that. So I decided, well, I'll just fix them. So I put saddles on them and tied them together. Got me a Latigo strap and tied the saddles together about 24 inches apart. And so they couldn't separate. Well, I walked them around a while like that and got them used to that, and that wasn't any problem. And I didn't have any trouble staying up on them while they was walking. Well, I decided to get them in a trot and see what would happen. Well, a trot, these two horses never worked together, tried as a team to do anything. Well, they couldn't get their trot together. And I'd be going up on one side and down on the other and right the opposite, and they couldn't get in rhythm, so it was very hard to stay on them. And I fell off 2 or 3 times. I never did get them any faster than a trot because I didn't figure that I'd fell off of them at a trot, and I didn't really want to fall off of them at a full gallop, so I never did try the full gallop thing, and I finally give up on that because I couldn't get them to run synchronized. And so my trick riding kind of fell by the wayside, but I really enjoyed having a horse as a kid. It was something I enjoyed, being kind of Western, and we rode a lot. We'd ride down in the bottoms below the Lake Worth Dam, and we'd ride out on that big old pasture and hill across the Jacksboro Highway from us. Rode down at Mr. Pulliam's some. We would ride in the Fort Worth Stock Show Parade, of course, and we just did a lot of things horseback, and it kept us busy, kept us out of trouble. I think I owned maybe 2 different horses while I was young, and then